Hi guys and welcome to another video. At first glance, Pokemon doesn't seem like a franchise with a lot of deep lore and mysteries, but in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. Pokemon has so much lore that people who spend the majority of their lives being Pokemon fans still can't possibly know all of it. But it also has a lot of mysteries, and many of them have never been explained. So today I'll be listing the 10 unexplained mysteries in Pokemon that I find the most interesting, and I would love to see them get answered, even though they probably never will. Number 1. Mimikyu's true form. Mimikyu probably has the most tragic backstory of any Pokemon. Everybody who sees its true form dies, so in order to protect others, it covers itself up. And it chose to disguise itself as a Pikachu because it wants people to like it. And even in the Pokemon world, Pikachu is really popular. But because of that, the only parts of its true form that he ever got to see are its glowing eyes and its fangs, and we have no idea what the rest of his body looks like. But an even more interesting mystery about Mimikyu is why seeing its true form causes people to die. Maybe it just looks so ugly and disturbing, everybody who sees it has a heart attack. Or maybe the reason for that is some sort of curse or weird supernatural power it has. But either way, I'm not sure I actually want this question answered, since the mystery makes Mimikyu feel even creepier. Number 2. What even are ghost-type Pokemon? The more you think about it, the less sense it makes. There are ghost types, that are usually found near graveyards, so most people assume they are actually ghosts or previously living creatures, either Pokemon or humans. And that's actually supported in quite a few Pokédex entries. For example, according to the Pokédex, Yamask was once a human, and is now carrying around its previous face. But it doesn't make any sense, since you can breed Yamask and get a Yamask egg, which will hatch into a Yamask. So is that newly hatched Yamask a ghost of a previous human? What sense would that make? It was just born. And I can think of two theories that can explain it. The first one is that the original ghost-type Pokemon were actually ghosts of dead Pokemon or humans. But then they started breeding, and their descendants still look and act like them, but aren't actually ghosts. Or the second one, which I find much more likely, and is that the Pokédex is just full of crap, and these are just regular living Pokemon that for some reason resemble ghosts. Number 3. The connection between Arceus and the Unknown. There's clearly some sort of connection there, because in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if you have an Arceus, you can trigger the Sinjar Ruins event, in which Arceus will create an egg for one of the creation trio, Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina. And while Arceus is doing that, there are a bunch of Unknown flying around it. According to Arceus' Diamond Pokédex entry, it created a Pokemon world using 1000 of its arms. And a lot of people, including me, think those arms could be the Unknown. Because the way they are now, they're completely useless. So it makes sense if in a way they were an extension of Arceus. And who knows, maybe Pokemon Legends Arceus will get to learn more about this. Number 4. Ash's age. Or more specifically, why Ash doesn't seem to age at all. At the beginning of his journey, Ash was 10. But then 4 generations later, during the first episode of the Unova anime, Ash is stated to be 10. And now, in a recent episode of Pokemon Journeys, Ash is again stated to be 10, even though over 1000 episodes passed since the beginning of his journey. But it's hard to figure out how much time actually passed since the beginning of his journey. But MatPat did have a two-part theory on that, and in the end he concluded that at the end of the X and Y anime, Ash should be 19 and a half. But while making his videos, I think he forgot to take into account that in the only Pokemon games that actually have a season mechanic, Black and White and Black 2 and White 2, each season only lasts a month. But we can't really be sure if that's just a game mechanic or it's actually canon. But even if that is actually a canon part of the Pokemon world, Ash should still be at least 13. There are two popular theories that try to explain it. The first one is that when in the first episode, Pikachu knocked Ash out while defending him from the flock of Fearow, Ash actually fell into a coma, and the rest of his adventure was just a dream. And I really don't like this theory, since it would ruin the show, because then everything that happened after the first episode didn't actually happen, and was actually just a dream. And the second one is that Ho-Oh gave Ash eternal youth when Ash saw him at the end of the first episode. In some of Ho-Oh's Pokédex entries, he said that it brings eternal happiness to any trainer that sees it. And it wouldn't surprise me if the only thing that would keep Ash happy is traveling with Pokemon, so Ho-Oh made that possible. But this theory still raises a lot of questions, like why does nobody seem surprised by the fact that Ash never ages? And why do none of the other characters age either? Like, does Ho-Oh have enough power to stop Ash and every person he knows from aging, or is it something else? Number 5. Lumiose City Ghost Girl. After you exit an elevator in one of the buildings in Lumiose City, a cutscene will happen. In that cutscene, a person or a ghost with the sprite of a hex maniac will glide around you. Yes, glide, not walk, because her legs are not moving. And then say, "No, you're not the one," and disappear. Nobody has ever managed to be the one, and this ghost girl was never mentioned again. But in X and Y, there is another hex maniac that is standing next to a wall. When you try to talk to them, they tell you to not talk to them, because they're trying to listen to the elevator. So that could very well be her, but even if that were true, you're still no closer to figuring out who she actually is, or why she was added to the game. Number 6. How does Pokemon breeding work? I already know what sounds more cultured among your thinking, but no, I don't think that's how Pokemon breed. Not only because of impossible combinations like Wayward and Skitty, but also because generalized Pokemon who otherwise cannot breed can still breed with a Ditto. And also because the daycare keepers, whose entire job is to look after Pokemon, can't ever figure out how Pokemon eggs get there. But I don't expect to ever get this question answered, because Pokemon is a franchise that is aimed at kids after all. Number 7. Almost everything about the Pokeball. Firstly, how does the Pokeball even contain a Pokemon? That seems like an incredible feat of technology. But somehow Kurt is able to make Pokeballs out of acorns. And in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we'll be able to use them, even though it's set in the past. But also somehow we'll have a phone, so I guess the technology there is just all over the place. But I guess I can just accept that in the mysterious world of Pokemon, Pokemon can be magically stored in tiny places. But what really intrigues me is what happens inside of the Pokeball. There are many examples both in the games and in the anime of Pokemon jumping out of Pokeballs out on their own, usually as a reaction to something happening on the outside world. So in some way they are aware of what's happening on the outside world and probably can hear it. I used to think Pokemon in a Pokeball were just some sort of void, waiting to be called out. But the luxury ball is specifically said to be cozy and comfortable. So I guess every Pokemon has some sort of mini world inside of it that a Pokemon lives in, which makes a Pokeball an even crazier feat of technology. Number 8. The humans eat Pokemon. Humans eating Pokemon is a concept that was introduced all the way back in Gold and Silver. Team Rocket tried to cut off tails of a group of Slowpoke, and are planning to sell them to people who are going to eat them. And even though these Slowpokes are going to survive and regrow their tails, it's still treated like a very bad thing. But in Sword and Shield, we were introduced to the curry mechanic, and some of the curries just straight up have sausages or steaks in them. So where do they come from? There are no animals in the Pokemon world, so they must come from Pokemon. But still, eating Pokemon just feels so wrong, and almost against everything the franchise stands for. Number 9. Is Cuban really wearing the skull of his dead mother? In Cuban's Pokédex entries, it's stated repeatedly that Cuban is wearing the skull of his dead mother. But that doesn't make any sense. That would imply that every single female Cuban or Marowak decides to have a baby dies after they give birth. But the Cuban and Marowak's gender split is 50-50. So each new generation of Cuban will only be half of the last one. So they will die out pretty quickly. But what I think is most likely is that Cuban isn't actually wearing the skull of his dead mother. And that skull on Cuban and Marowak's heads isn't actually a skull, but just part of their bodies that they developed in order to protect themselves against predators. Maybe it makes them look scarier, or gives them the ability to play dead. Number 10. The original Unova Dragon. I'm sure most of you already know this, but just in case you don't. In the past of Unova region, there was a really powerful dragon-type Pokemon. And there were two brothers who ruled Unova region. One of them believed in ideals, and another believed in truth. So because of that, the original dragon split into 3 Pokemon. Reshiram went with the brother who believed in truth, and Zekrom went with the brother who believed in ideals. And Kyurem is what's left over from it. But in Black 2 and White 2, you can actually fuse Kyurem with Zekrom to get Black Kyurem, and fuse Kyurem with Reshiram to get White Kyurem. And both of them are kind of 2/3 of the original dragon. Even though they're both really powerful, they look incomplete. So we can only imagine how powerful and cool the original dragon was. And hope that one day we'll actually get to see it. Maybe in the Unova remix, or maybe in a Legends game set in the past of the Unova region. And that's the list. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe you could consider liking it, or maybe subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell button, so you get notified when I upload another video. Also leave me a comment telling me, what are some mysteries in Pokemon that you find interesting and want to get answers to. But that's all I have to say for now, so I hope I'll see you again, and goodbye.